Kamusta there, guys. What is up? Drax6Dude here, and today we got you here some Battlefield 5 footage from the Operations Narvik gameplay. I'm using the Sturmgewehr 44 to start off this clip. Not sure if I switch into any other weapons in the duration of this clip, but you will see some decent Battlefield 5 gameplay. I hope I don't get killed so much. Hopefully I showcase that I'm not a necessarily bad player at the game, as I really don't feel like I am. But I wanted to get some positives and negatives on the board about the game's release for Battlefield 5. I have a couple positives. I'm going to go from positive to negative to positive to negative. I'm going to go through that kind of format, so I'm not too negative on the game, while I am giving the game the prop that it most certainly deserves as a AAA first-person World War II game, as it deserves. Well, number one, positive, very fun gun mechanics. If you noticed in this game, a lot of these guns feel rewarding to use, and a lot of it's due to the abilities of these weapons, and a lot of it's due to the fact that most of the guns feel kind of similar to what you would expect them to feel like the Sturmgewehr 44. You expect it to be a decent assault rifle, but it doesn't really pack the punch that I necessarily would expect from a automatic rifle in this time period. And obviously, and that's a lot of it to due to the fact of the time period and its nerfs that I believe it deserves still, even though we all know that everybody's going to be using the Sturmgewehr 44 once this game launches, whether it's going to be great or bad. So the gun mechanics feel great. A lot of the guns feel rewarding to use, and I never really felt out of place when I was using a certain weapon. I used a lot of the weapons during the beta. I tried to use as much as possible. I ended up getting level 10 with every certain class, so I would be able to use those weapons and have a certain understanding on how to use them. And a lot of the bad problems I had with the certain weapons was the shotguns. A lot of the shotgun was really bad. I'm not saying it was horrendous because it was bad. I just couldn't use it, and it's more due to the fact that I'm not really a shotgun fan. Like in any other Battlefield game, not named Battlefield 4, I can't use shotguns, so moving on. Very crappy gun balance. It could definitely be improved. By gun balance, I'm not talking about like certain types of weapons. I'm talking about the abilities that semi-auto rifles that are, supposed to have. You're supposed to be able to shoot people easily at a distance, and I never really found that fun or enjoyable. It felt like I had to use the Sturmgewehr no matter what. Like, that's the only gun in the assault class that I felt rewarding enough that I didn't have to use pure skill on, and a lot of that is due to them not nerfing the Sturmgewehr where they really should have, and it makes absolutely no sense that they would keep the Sturmgewehr the way it is in this game once it launches. I just feel like there's a nerf coming, and it's going to be a massive one, and it's not going to make people stop using the gun, especially if it's if it's the only automatic rifle, which it probably won't be. There's probably going to be a couple more. But I imagine that people would still be using the gun just because it is an automatic version, kind of like the Fedorov. I just don't see it dropping off because of that. Player movement speed is pretty darn good. That's another positive. I like the movement speed of the players in the game. Very bad teammates. I feel like people haven't adjusted well to the game, and a lot of it's due to the fact that there's no 3D spotting. And at first, I was really against it. I hated it. And then I found out very, very soon that it helps me survive a lot of the death sentences I had. And I ended up getting a better KD ratio over the course of this game that I have ever had over the course of Battlefield 1 in its entirety. No, another positive is there's no season pass. I don't need to go into it. Obviously, paying $60, $50 for map packs in 2018 is absolutely blasphemous. Negative is virtual currency. You've seen this in Battlefield Hardline, and it's it's a lesser degree because you could still buy stuff in that game, like supply drops, or I call them supply drops, yet they were not supply drops. It was like a crate, some sort of gold crate, there was a silver crate, and there was a bronze. That kind of like ranking. The reason why it's bad is because it's probably going to be harder to get, because there probably is going to be a buy version of that currency. Either that, or it's going to take a lot less to rank up and get certain things just at the beginning, because they want to test our limits, I guess, because it's EA. I mean, I know DICE created the game, but EA is going to pressure them to do that. Next one, better maps. There's 2 maps that came out, and I just felt more... I don't know what the word is. I felt less rewarded when I was playing the game on these maps. It didn't feel like it was a Battlefield map. I do like the textures, and it looked good, much like Battlefront games have always been. They always looked good, but it just didn't click well with the mechanics within the game, you know? It just doesn't feel fun. Another negative. I'm going to get into another negative. The Sturmgewehr needs a nerf. That's obvious. I talked about it just recently. Positive, Operations is quite fun. As you can see, I'm using Operations gameplay here. I'm enjoying it. Obviously, I like the Night Ops version of the Sturmgewehr. So, I had some fun with that, so. Operations, especially the way this map is presented, it's really nice. Moving on, another negative, the EMP is better than the MP40, and I know that sounds like a weird, gripey negative, but if you're going to make a gun hard to get, you might as well make it decent. I'm not saying it's supposed to be the end-all, be-all of the class where everybody's using that gun once they unlock it, because it creates much of a stigma around the franchise. Oh, you got to use this gun to be good. But I feel like the EMP doesn't deserve to be as good as it is. I believe in in normal circumstances, I feel like people would pick up the EMP and be a lot more accurate and you would have a lot more fun with it because of its amazing accuracy. And I just feel like the MP40 being so hard to obtain would be a lot easier in that scenario. Another one, less campers than before on the ground on the objective. If you notice, whenever you go to an objective, there's always people on the ground. They're always chilling. They're always making sure that they're harder to hit, which is a good strategy, very good strategy. But it gets annoying after a while. And while I'm talking about this, I'm going to put in another positive. I really love the load times of this game, despite the fact that you can't leave after games. You load into the next round pretty darn quickly, compared to Battlefield 1, that it doesn't really matter, because you can just leave via that match, and you don't get any repercussions for doing so. Another negative is it needs more guns at launch. It's obvious. I mean, I could tell you this is something that people are going to gripe about. It didn't have a lot of the beta weapons that I wanted, but it definitely had a variety that I was content with playing it for a couple days, and I didn't need to stop playing it. And I enjoyed it after the first day. I had a big problem with it the first day, but after the first day, I had very much fun. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Another one is a lot of the games that come out, you see guns that you expect to see in the game, but in this game it didn't showcase guns that were staples like the M1 Garand. They didn't showcase the M1911, which was, we'll get into that later. But it didn't showcase the Springfield. It didn't showcase like the Mosin Nagant, where it should have been in the game. I don't care if if they don't have any Russian guns in there at all. They have to have those Russian guns. At least the bare minimum. Say maybe the PPSH. The I can't even think anything other than PPSH. The different variants of the PPSH. If you notice that there's a bunch of different ones. And it didn't feel like there was guns that we didn't know that were going to come out when they come out. Like, it felt like they gave us more of a understanding on what the guns that we're going to get are, we're going to get. The Grease gun would have been an obvious addition, even though they completely ignored putting it in the game. Like the Thompson. You expect the Thompson to be there. No, I think they really focused on the British and the German sides, especially for these maps, and I respect it a lot for that reason. So I'm hoping that they don't take half the content out and put it in in this changing wars, something, tides of war. That's what they're calling it. I hope they don't take out half the content and put it there, because I feel like they need to keep on and keep putting the same amount of content that the game's supposed to be released with, and keep it there, and then create more content for that game. And I feel like this game needs to have at least 50 weapons at launch. 50 different weapons, and that includes pistols, gadgets, battle pickups. You know, they're just the normal deal. You know, just the normal deal. That's all I want. 50 different weapons, not including vehicles. Another negative is it didn't have a selection of pistols that I felt rewarded with. Like, although they are different, like it uses in like my positive one, it felt awesome that they didn't do that. But in here, I wanted like easy pistols that I can think of about World War II, the Luger, the M1911, so I can be surprised with these different guns at release. Like, oh, they've got the P-34. Cool. I didn't expect them to have the Walther. Or, cool. I didn't expect them to have a Webley. Or anything to that extent, where you just didn't expect these guns to be there, which, honestly, they didn't show any sort of revolver, so there probably is going to be some sort of Wembley, or some sort of revolver in the game that will showcase. Of course, revolvers are in World War II. So the last one, I'm going to leave it out on a positive note, and it was the beta felt rewarding when you got kills. It felt good. It felt good killing people. It felt good playing this game, and when you died, it wasn't complete bullshit, other than the fact that I had to use a darkened sight on a light map to play it normally, which is absolutely crazy. But, you know, I'm not going to bitch about that, because I guarantee you they've already gotten their necks ringed out for it. So I think I'm going to end it off here. Tell me what you guys think here in the comment section down below. I want to hear your opinions, honestly. I want to hear them. Seriously, talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear your opinions on the game itself. And let's try to keep this about the game as well. Tell me what you guys think here in the comment section down below. Again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later.